Good day, colleagues, and welcome to this session. My name is Cebisa Mdumdum, and I am working in the Department of Basic Education. I am responsible for mathematics from grade 4 to 9. Today, I will be presenting to you the 2023 amended annual teaching plans and assessment plans for mathematics grade 4 to 6. I am going to speak to those points as reflected. That is the purpose of this presentation, the background, the brief on the ATP review, the topics that were removed in year 2021, the amendments to the annual teaching plans, the amendments to the school-based assessment, and lastly, the conclusion. Colleagues, the purpose of this presentation is to present to you the grade 4 to 6 amendments of the 2022 revised ATPs for implementation in year 2023 to year 2024. You will remember, colleagues, that during the year 2020, we were hit by the COVID-19. This resulted to schools being closed. When the schools reopened, the schools were reopened in a phased approach, whereby not all learners were coming to school on a daily basis. And also because we had to retain the COVID protocols, we had to allow learners to come to school on rotational basis or also platooning in some schools. By the year of 2020, that is by the end of the year, we revisited the ATPs because there was content that was trimmed. You will remember that we didn't open during term 2. The schools were opened in term 3. Then we revised the ATPs with the hope that in year 2021, things were going to be normal. Unfortunately, the COVID was still with us, which meant that teachers were unable to implement the ATPs for year 2021 as envisaged. So these ATPs, colleagues, were supposed to be implemented from year 2021 up to year 2024. The sector decided on a light review to close the gaps because it was evident that learners have got learning losses from year 2020 when the schools closed, and due to the staggered manner in which the schools were reopened, and also during the year 2021, whereby the schools were still rotating. So in year 2022, colleagues, the learners were behind by 2 grades because they didn't learn in the previous 2 years. So that is why the sector decided on a light review. Coming to the brief on the ATP review, I'm going to talk about the purpose of the ATP review, the principles, and also the overall process. The purpose of the review was to identify and rectify concerns with the current revised ATPs. When we are talking about the current revised ATPs, we are talking about the ATPs that were implemented in year 2021 and also year 2022. So these concerns talked to content, assessment, and also resources. We looked at the significant gaps in the core or fundamental knowledge. We also looked at whether the content is aligned across the phase. We also looked at whether there is no repetition of the content unnecessarily. And lastly, whether the content was appropriate. When coming to the assessment, we looked at whether the assessment tasks are in line with the revised SPAs. We had to ensure colleagues that the revised ATPs are still talking to the resources that we have in the system. So, colleagues, the review was a light review and not a curriculum redesign. It was meant, or it is meant for in the interim measure, that is year 2023 and year 2024, only to address the weaknesses and not to create something new. They are going to remain in place until the implementation of the strengthened curriculum, which therefore means that this process, that is the light review, was not meant to rewrite or develop a new ATP. It was not meant to fix all the issues. Yes, the issues are fixed, but not all issues can be fixed. It was not meant to add trimmed content back, simply because, colleagues, we are saying these learners have got gaps from year 2020, year 2021, and also year 2022. Also, it was not meant to add additional content outside the policy, because we are saying it is not a policy redesign. And lastly, we did not add any additional SPA outside the abridged Section 4. Which therefore means that, colleagues, with the ATPs that you are having, what you are going to see is that we have retained the core content in each grade, and also we have removed the content that is duplicated. Another thing that we have done is that we have reorganized the content. You will remember, colleagues, that with the grade 4 to 6, you will find that the content is repeating throughout the year. I'm going to make an example of the grade 4 work. With grade 4 colleagues, in term 1, we are adding whole numbers to at least 3-digit whole numbers. That is what used to happen when we had caps. And then in term 2, we were adding whole numbers to at least 4-digit numbers. So now with the revised ATPs, what we have done, we will be adding the whole numbers to at least 3-digit numbers up to at least 4-digit numbers during term 1, because we are not going to be adding whole numbers again throughout the year. But what is going to happen is that addition of whole numbers is going to be applied in other content areas throughout the year. And lastly, colleagues, we have ensured that there is coherence and progression of content. Then we are going to go for a break. I'm going to see you after the break.